Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back again today with another fantasy football video. Today's video is Week 3 tight end rankings. I go through 1 through 20, give a reasoning why they're all ranked where they are. Before I start the video, I'd like to ask you, could please go down below and click that subscribe button, because not only does it help me, it's also going to help you guys dominate your fantasy football league. I upload 10 plus videos every single week, as well as doing 2 live streams, one Thursday night and one Sunday morning before the game, so you don't want to miss out on that. Click the notification bell as well. Also, follow me on Twitter at NotoriousFNTSY. Let's get right into the video. So the first overall tight end, this is 1 through 12, is Travis Kelce going up against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, I did have a bit of a dilemma here going between Kelce and Ertz being 1 or 2. Now, Ertz is playing up against Detroit, which doesn't have too much effect on it, but what does have an effect on it is that his receiving core around him is hurt. Alshon Jeffrey likely out. Deshaun Jackson out. So it's really just the Zach Ertz and Nelson Aguilar show. So I do like him a lot this week, but I think Kelce every single week, if you don't rank him as the number 1 tight end, you're being dishonest with yourself, because you know Travis Kelce is the best tight end in the league. Going up against Baltimore, they're going to be scoring a bunch of points, even though Baltimore has a solid defense. We saw it last year. Kansas City was able to score a bunch of points, and I think that they can this week as well. So I have Travis Kelce at 1. I got Ertz at 2, but like I said, I could see him also being the number 1 guy this week with all of his wide receivers around him being hurt. Now, number 3 is Mark Andrews going up against Kansas City. Every single week so far, Mark Andrews has scored a touchdown. I believe that he every single week is a top 5 guy, locked and loaded. This week going up against Kansas City, I believe it is going to be a high scoring matchup. I believe Mark Andrews will hop in that end zone yet again, get over 100 yards. He is a great tight end. Lamar Jackson loves throwing the ball his way, and I think that you'd be a fool not to rank him in the top 3 this week. Now, number 4 is George Kittle of the San Francisco 49ers going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I know we drafted him to be a top 3 tight end, and I think he has that potential this week, but I ranked him just below Mark Andrews because I think it's going to be such a high scoring affair between Kansas City and the Baltimore Ravens. George Kittle is one of the better tight ends in the league. We've seen that he isn't being that guy that we thought he necessarily was this year, but I think he's still a solid tight end, so one of the best tight ends in the game, and I think he'll be solid this week up against the Steelers. Now, number 5 is Evan Ingram going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is ranked so highly because he's playing against the Bucs, and I think that Daniel Jones is going to be just throwing the ball a lot his way. Now, Sterling Shepard is active this week, so that does hurt his value, but I still think that Evan Ingram is a solid week in, week out, top 6 tight end type of deal, so I like him this week. Number 6, we have G-Reg, third leg Olsen of the Carolina Panthers, with Kyle Allen at the quarterback going up against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I do think that Greg Olsen may get a bit of a tick down not having Cam Newton, but who knows, maybe Kyle Allen will target him a lot too. I like Greg Olsen a lot more than some of these other guys that are further on the list, so that's why Greg Olsen is number 6. Now, number 7 is Darren Waller, who also could have been number 6, kind of interchangeable here. Darren Waller of the Oakland Raiders going up against the Minnesota Vikings. This is a tougher matchup. That's why he's number 7. The Minnesota defense is pretty solid, but I think that Darren Waller being used so heavily on the offense, if Tyrell Williams is out, Darren Waller will definitely have a monster game. Now, if Tyrell Williams is in, he'll still probably have a pretty big game since he's on the field so much. Now, number 8 is Austin Hooper of the Atlanta Falcons going up against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, we saw last week that Austin Hooper was getting a decent amount of usage. Matt Ryan loves throwing the ball his way, so I'm pretty confident with him being a top 10 guy pretty much every single week, especially this one. Now, number 9 is Mr. Vance McDonald going up against the San Francisco 49ers. We saw last week that he had 2 touchdowns. Mason Rudolph seems to trust Vance McDonald. He is his tight end. I think that Mason Rudolph and Vance McDonald will have success this week going up against a tougher defense in the San Francisco 49ers. Number 10 is TJ Hawkingod of the Detroit Lions going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, what I think is that TJ Hawkinson had a great week 1. Week 2 did not look so good. About a 1 or 2 fantasy points in PPR. Did not look too hot. This week, he's looking to bounce back up against the Philadelphia Eagles. He should be getting a lot more usage this week, so I like TJ Hawkinson. Number 11 is O.J. Howard going up against the New York Giants. Now, I know I had him, I believe, as a sit in my start-sit video, but he has to be ranked top 12 because he's playing the Giants. If Jameis Winston decides to target him, he will be good. Am I scared about starting him? 100%. But I do believe there is definitely potential for him to even finish as a higher than 11 and potentially be like the number 7 guy in fantasy football this week just due to his matchup. Number 12, we have Jared Cook going up against the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I know that Drew Brees is out, so it's going to be Taysom Hill or it's going to be Teddy B. I'm not sure which one it's going to be. I don't believe that that information is out as I'm recording this video, but I still think that Jared Cook should have a okay enough game to be ranked top 12 because the guys behind him are not in such good situations. Number 13 is Jason Witten, probably the best situation out of any of these guys. He's going up against my Miami Dolphins this week. He will probably have his day, hop in the end zone, walking 2 miles an hour, get in the end zone, score, and be good enough for you to have started in fantasy football. You, with Witten, you need a touchdown. Same with a lot of these guys. Number 14, we have Eric Ebron going up against the Atlanta Falcons. Same thing with him. He needs to score that touchdown to get that usage. We need to hope that Mr. Jacoby Brissett is able to throw the ball his way so he can score that glorious, glorious touchdown. Number 15 is Jimmy G, Jimmy Graham of the Green Bay Packers going up against the Denver Broncos. Now, we saw last week Jimmy Graham put up a goose egg. We saw week 1, he scored a touchdown. This week, I like to see a bounce back coming his way. I know Denver is not that the greatest matchup, but Denver was even the Bears were able to score on them, and the Bears looked like they couldn't score against anyone. So I'm pretty confident in Jimmy Graham this week. I would give him a top 15 ranking. Now, number 16 is Will Dissly. Now, he is going up against the New Orleans Saints. He is on the Seattle Seahawks. Last week, we saw him score, hop in that end zone. I think this week may be the same deal. Russell Wilson loves looking his way in the end zone. He's a bigger body, a bigger target, so I like him this week. Number 17 is Vernon Davis of the Washington Redskins going up against the Chicago Bears on Monday night. Now, what I do think is that the Bears are not too good about guarding the tight end. We saw week 1, Jimmy Graham play pretty well. Last week they were dealing with Noah Fant. Noah Fant is not the best tight end, so I'm not too worried about that. I think Vernon Davis should be able to have quite the game out there. It's really just him and Scary Terry out there fending for themselves, and I think Vernon Davis will get his this week. Number 18, we have Kyle Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer of the Vikings going up against Oakland. Now, we need to see the Vikings offense flourish in this game. Oakland defense, not too good. I think that Kirk Cousins should really have a bounce back game this week, and I like to think that Kyle Rudolph is a part of it, so that's why he's ranked top 20, but I don't love starting him. Same with number 19 and 20. Number 19 is Trey Burton going up against the Washington Redskins. Now, I haven't liked Trey Burton at all the past 2 weeks. Really not on him very much, but what I do know is that he is a guy that can catch a ball on the Bears. Mitch Trubisky should be throwing the ball more against Washington. He should try to figure out how to actually throw the ball to the left of the field. Maybe Trey Burton has a solid game. Now, number 20 is Tyler Eifert. Very touchdown dependent for Tyler Eifert. Him and CJ Uzmazada, or TJ Uzma, are tight ends both on the Cincinnati Bengals going up against Buffalo, and they're both tight end or touchdown dependent. They both like eat into each other's targets because they're both eating each other's snaps. And it's like a 60-40 split. You don't really want anything to do with Tyler Eifert either, but he is a top 20 guy because the tight end pool is not very strong. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you did end up getting a bit of a chuckle, a bit of enjoyment out of this video, click that subscribe button because not only is it going to help me, it's also going to help you guys dominate your fantasy football fucking season. So click that goddamn subscribe button. Knock one time if you're with me. We are going to have a glorious week this week. Stay in tune on Sunday this morning, or Sunday morning. I will be live streaming. Hopefully that you guys can make it to that. I will be answering all types of questions for like 2 hours. It's a pretty fun time. On Thursday we had a great time, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that on Thursday if you're there, and hopefully you come on Sunday. So thank you guys all for watching. I love you all. Good boy.